Hello everybody, Steelfist Gaming here. Today I'm going to be asking a question that very few other people have the guts to ask. Should we have invented technology? Now, let's see what life was like before technology. Back in the day, people were cavemen. They would drink their water out of a stream, and they would hunt for their food, and that's about it. And they also built the pyramids, but... And they... all sorts of ancient structures, because they had a bunch of time to do all sorts of cool stuff. But technology went on. We invented engines, we invented computers, technology, the internet, and it's made everything a lot more convenient, but was it really worth it? Because the whole point of technology is to save time. It takes a long time to kill a woolly mammoth using just your bare hands. You might not even be able to do it at all. I could because I'm strong. I'm the strongest human in the world, but no one else could. But let's say you have a spear. You and 20 guys could kill a woolly mammoth like that, and that saves time. But you probably spent more time making the spears. And if you keep going forward and forward like that, that's eventually how it goes. Because people invented cars, and those are made to save time, but how long did it take to build the car? You know, technology was invented to save more time, and up front it usually does, but later down the road it costs more time to maintain that technology. Actually, to the point where most human beings spend their entire lives maintaining it. Because that's, most jobs are related to maintaining technology if you think about it. Let's say that you work for an insurance company. Houses, modern houses, are technology. You're helping to maintain that. And, I don't know, auto insurance, or mechanics, or factory workers. Those people are meant, well, their job is to maintain and create technology. But they spend lots and lots of time doing that. And it's just something to think about, you know. Does technology really save time? Is technology really worth it? Because people, they got around just fine when all they had was spears. Nowadays, everybody spends most of their lives engaged with technology, and their careers are related to it, their free time is related to it. Back in the day, people would just get rocks and throw them off a cliff because it was fun. But nowadays, most people play video games as a hobby. You know, I don't remember the last time I've been on a hike, because I live in the pretty far out from the wilderness. But if you think about it, before technology was invented, that's all people were. They were just out in the woods by themselves. And they didn't have to worry about technology. I mean, sure, they didn't live as long, and they didn't have as much stuff. They couldn't play Fortnite. They could play Minecraft because that was the first game ever made, but they didn't have all the things that we have. But we didn't have a lot of things that people had back in the day. Look at Amish people. They get around just fine. They don't have technology. So it makes me think, should we really have invented technology? Because when life gets so easy, and you have to spend your entire life maintaining technology, it sort of defeats the purpose of inventing it in the first place. Because technology was supposed to be a time saver, and it does up front, but you gotta spend that time later building and inventing and maintaining technology. It's supposed to make things easier, but when it makes things so easy, that's sort of the default way it was. You know, cavemen, they had to walk thousands of miles every day, and they had to kill woolly mammoths, but they rarely complained about it back in the day, because that's just the way it was. That's the way they were used to it. But nowadays, we probably feel about the same way as they do, even though we don't have as much physical stuff to do as the caveman. Just something, just something interesting to think about. So in conclusion, I guess what I'm getting at here is technology sort of defeats its own purpose in a way, because the whole reason people invent it is to make things quicker and easier, but you spend more time maintaining that technology than you would otherwise. And also, if things just get easier, that's the way you're going to get used to them, and then pretty soon you'll feel the same as you did before. There's a study that was conducted on lottery winners. If you won the lottery, your life would be a lot easier. No doubt about it. But a couple of years, they're as happy as they were before, because that's what they got used to. Same thing with people who lost a leg or an arm in a car wreck, I heard from a study. They're pretty devastated at first, and for a good reason, but later on they get as happy as they were before because they adapt to the way that things are. So sure, at first, let's say you had to drive around a horse and buggy all the time, and then a car got invented. It's faster, easier, cheaper, doesn't bite you, but you'll just get used to that, and then you'll feel the exact same way you did before. Which is a pretty interesting thing to think about, because technology is sort of like the hungry caterpillar where it's eating itself. It sort of defeats its own purpose, because in the short run it does make things easier and save time, but in the long run it doesn't. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Steelfist Gaming, signing out.